people, Dane here. This is a 1984 Martin D-35. Problem with this guitar is that it's not tuned up. No, it's got a broken headstock. It happens to be in place right now. Let me see if I can swing this around to where you can get a look down. No, I thought I had it. Yeah, if you look down the peg edge, you can see how it kind of goes down to here and then goes up again. So the other side, it actually sights pretty straight. Now, when you get to the back of the headstock, you can see it's got a big old crack across it. I'll try to turn this around to where it gets a better look in the camera, because it's actually pretty open. Yeah, see that? All right. So this guitar has had the peg head broken 3 times. The 3rd time, it was just left in a guy's trunk for a couple days. And apparently the heat softened up the glue. And I'm going to go ahead and get the strings off of it. I will put a picture in right around here somewhere. He texted me a picture of this thing with the peg head off. And so I was surprised when it came in the case and it was actually stuck back on there. This is going to be a clean out the crap kind of deal, re-glue it in as tightly and as straight as possible, and then spline it. I think it at least needs that. All right, so we moved the camera around. I haven't taken it off yet. I'm assuming it's just going to wiggle off of here, or maybe not. Interesting. I don't think please tell me they didn't glue it back on. Well, maybe he showed me the picture from before it broke, from the previous time that it broke, and that it didn't actually come all the way off this time. This is going to be interesting. Well, in this case, me, is going to have to pull the tuners. I have to figure out how I'm going to actually get this thing to come completely apart. It's probably going to involve some more heat. And I hope I can do that without jacking anything up. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. This whole thing is twisted. The neck looks a little twisted, but I think it's just the peg head fooling me when I sight down it. I'm going to set up a heat lamp and throw a little heat on this thing. See if that'll help it come apart. Oh, sorry about that. That was a nice picture of the block or whatever other trash I have on hand here. Okay, and so I'm checking something here. I'm thinking that possibly, instead of taking it completely apart, since I'm going to spline it anyway, I might be able to pull it back into position. This is only just tight enough to hold it in place. I haven't put any juice on it yet. So I'm going to slide it down a little closer. Just put a little pressure on it and see what happens. Actually put a lot of pressure on it. It's still not closing up at all in there. It's not coming down over here. I gotta just check and see if it didn't straighten the peg head out at all in that wiggle. So I think I don't have any option other than to take it off, try to clean the glue out, see if we can get things realigned. Okay, that's what we'll do. So when you have a little clamp and you don't have enough room to get two 1/2-inch blocks in, you use a sound hole that you cut out of your first acoustic guitar, #1. Anyway, that worked, but looks like we're going for the heat lamp. I'll get my little temperature thing out. It is possible to bubble finish, and I'd rather not do that. That's why I'm starting on the back rather than the front. 118 right there. 109. 76 up here, 109, 118. We'll let it get up to close to 200. And see if that loosens anything up. 138. Well, something weird happened. It got up to about 190. I was tweaking on the headstock, and I noticed that as I was pulling up on this corner, which is what happened here. This was tweaking down from this last tuner hole. I was pulling up on that corner and was pushing this joint together. And apparently there was glue in that joint that was keeping the joint apart. And now it's not, it's pretty close to being completely tight. Can you see that? I can't mess with my heat lamp bulb and my other, I just interchange the bulbs. I don't have two separate lights. So, but this is just barely up here. So it really pulled that down. It also flattened this down. So now we have, oh, you're not looking at the right angle, but anyway, it's much straighter than it was. No longer have that, that corner pulled up. So I'm just going to leave it cool off like it is. And then take the clamp off later and see what it does. So I have this little template I made many years ago. I splined a K, and this was what I used. I don't remember, to tell you the truth, what bit I used, or I thought I might have used a guide bushing with a smaller, narrower bit, but I can't find anything like that. So what I have is my Whiteside short 1/2-inch cutter with double bearings that I use for my neck tenon jig. And I'm going to use that. It happens to fit the slot perfectly. No side to side or anything. With this right on the guitar, I only end up with about 1/8 of an inch depth back here on the neck, and going almost all the way through the headstock. So I raised that so that I'm changing the angle on the unit here. So I've marked centers on the top and the bottom. And centers on top and bottom, and the tape indicated basically the length where I want it to be. So I'm going to stick this thing. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to end up with. I'll measure it once I have this stuck in place. This is a 3/8 lift here, and then this drop is about 1/4 of an inch, if you figure the difference. So centering this. This is pretty solid. I feel like this is down pretty good. If I'm, jerking around on it, it can move a little bit, but I'm not going to be pushing that hard. Well, let's go ahead and try one of these. Okay, that just barely cut into the peg head there, so we're good. Trying to avoid having to plunge, but I don't think I'm going to get away from that. So a little new angle on the headstock here. So yep, now I am going to have to just kind of lower it in. So we might get a little wiggle. Okay, so I think that went pretty good. I'm going to go away and make some splines, and I'm not going to film that. Basically, I'm trying to decide whether to go mahogany, which is with this, ebony or maple, and I'm just kind of thinking about maple or ebony, just because it's stronger than mahogany is. I don't know if you can see this little line going through here. This looks like a crack at first glance, but it's just a mineral streak actually going all the way through the neck this way, which probably isn't a very good piece of wood for a neck. But yeah. Oh, before I put splines in, I'm going to load this up with glue the best I can. May use super glue, and then clamp it together to compress this. This has a bit of a hump here, and I think I might be able to compress this together with some blocks and a clamp. But I want to put glue in it first, and then if it does compress, that's great. If it doesn't, it's just the way it is. But I wanted to do it before the spline because I didn't want to reinforce this area with the spline and then try to compress this. So that'll happen now. So I'm going to make splines. I'm going to clamp that up. To make the splines, obviously I chose maple. I didn't have any ebony, actually. That was a 1/2 inch. I have a lot of ebony fretboard stock, but that's 3/8. And that works for fretboards and bridges. But it doesn't quite make it for 1/2 inch splines. So anyway, I just have a chunk of maple. I cut it about 6-7 inches long so that I could put it through the joiner without any risk of damaging myself. And I jointed it down to close to the thickness I needed. Then I sanded it. I have a flat slab. Plus I have this block that's just pretty flat that I can sand on. And so just to get things to get very, very close. And so this is very close. It just needs a little bit of work. But anyway, those are nice and snug. Just going to go ahead and glue this thing in here. I like fish glue. I've explained it a whole bunch of times. And I'm not sure if I need to re-explain it, but so fish glue shrinks as it dries, which pulls the joint tighter. Fish glue is very easy to clean up with a wet paper towel, or even after the fact, you can take a wet paper towel to it, and it will wipe off the surface, especially a surface that's already got finish on it. And let's see here. Make sure we have plenty of glue in there. way more glue than we need when this is all done here. So we'll have lots to squeeze out. You can't see it gushing out over here, but it did. Go ahead and put my spray bottle where I put it. This will also push glue into any of the cracks that were open. I checked the crack in here actually, and it didn't look like it was all that open. So it's just on the surface that it seemed to be you know, not completely flush. Okay, more, oh, let's just get rid of that block. More glue coming out here. And we'll be getting more once I do this clamp. Well, not that much.
I think it's more. Where is it?
So I chose maple. I could have used mahogany because any piece of mahogany that I put in there wouldn't have the exact same grain pattern as what I am replacing. And you know, a new solid piece of wood is still way better than that crack that's been going through there. So I could have gotten away with mahogany, and if I was worried about doing a really stellar paint touch-up kind of job, stain job, I probably would have.